I've seen reports of people throwing their dogs out of apartment blocks and also taking their pet to the vet to be euthanized in response to the Wuhan coronavirus flu outbreak in China. But what risk is there? What danger does your pet pose to your health, and how can you protect all of you? Hi, I'm Dr. Alex from ourpetshealth.com, where my aim is to help you and your pet live a healthier, happier life. And there's a lot of hysteria, there's a lot of panic and a lot of justified worry about the new Wuhan coronavirus, which is actually just being called COVID-19. Now, this is causing really severe flu-like symptoms in people, and it has about a 2% fatality rate. Now, 2% doesn't sound like very much, but that's actually the same as the Spanish flu, which swept through the world in 1918 and actually resulted in the death of up to 50 million people. So it's definitely something to take seriously. But we need to make sure that we're getting our facts straight when it comes to how best to respond to this threat, and that's what I'm talking about today. So let's talk about COVID-19, this coronavirus that's originated in Wuhan. That's a province in China. So we know that it started off from an animal market, a live animal market, and it contained all manner of different live animals, so reptiles, lots of different mammals as well. Now, what we do know is that originally this coronavirus did originate in bats. It's a bat coronavirus that was the initial thing. What scientists think happened is that this original bat coronavirus actually mutated and was transmitted to the pangolin. Now, that is a scaly anteater, which is actually one of the most trafficked animals in the world. They were present in this market, and then the coronavirus, once it was in the pangolin, it was then mutating again and it was transmitted to humans, and it is continually mutating, which is where potentially there's going to be a difficulty when it comes to developing a vaccine. But that's how it got into the human population in the first place. Now, there have also been reports of people saying that dogs pose a threat and dogs can transmit this coronavirus to people, which is clearly a big thing to be concerned about for any pet owner out there. In actual fact, though, this claim that dogs and cats can transmit this Wuhan coronavirus was a misquote from a scientist who actually said that the dogs and cats, if they come into contact with people who have coronavirus, they should also be isolated. And the World Health Organization have also released a statement saying that there is no evidence that dogs or cats can transmit coronavirus, and there's also no evidence that not only can they transmit it, that they can actually catch it in the first place, or they can suffer from this disease. So based on all that, there's absolutely no evidence that your dog or cat is a threat. That's not to say that they may not become affected in the future as this virus mutates, but they're certainly not something that we need to be worried about at this stage. And absolutely, throwing your dog off the apartment building is a ridiculous thing to do. But even thinking about taking your pet to the vet to be euthanized because of this potential theoretical risk that you might have heard about really is a step too far. But the next jump is to say that, well, dogs and cats, they do actually get coronavirus themselves. So aren't all coronaviruses deadly? Should I be worried that there's a risk to me just because of the normal coronavirus that dogs and cats carry? So it is true that dogs and cats, they do suffer from their own forms of coronavirus, but much like most other viruses are very species specific. That's the same case with these as well. There's no risk to humans. Dogs, they can get a coronavirus that causes a bit of a mild diarrhea. Often they're asymptomatic, meaning it doesn't cause any problems when they're infected with that. And like I say, there's no risk of your dog transmitting their normal coronavirus to you. Cats, they also suffer from a coronavirus, and again, in the vast majority of cases, it causes a mild diarrhea, mild tummy upset, nothing more serious than that. There is a small subset of cats where this coronavirus actually gets taken up into the body by the white blood cells, and rather than be destroyed, it causes a disease called FIP, or feline infectious peritonitis, and that absolutely is a deadly disease. It's one that we can't treat at all, although hopefully that's going to be changing in the near future. There has been kind of developments in that front that FIP may become a treatable condition in cats. But again, there's no worry that this coronavirus that cats are suffering from, even if they develop the FIP form of the disease, there's no evidence that that can be transmitted to humans. There's absolutely no risk of that happening. So what steps can you take to help prevent the likelihood of yourself or your dog or cat catching Wuhan coronavirus? So this Chinese flu is very similar to SARS, which was an outbreak a few years ago, in that it spread in saliva. So that can be transmitted by any kind of transmission of saliva. So that can be sharing cutlery, it can be kissing, but the big risk is going to be on your hands. So if someone sneezes, if they cough, they cover their mouth with their hands, you know, that's then going to be transmitted onto any surfaces they touch, door handles, tabletops, hand railings, whatever it is. So the real big risk is that you'll then touch that, and then you'll be touching your face, and that will make its way into your mouth as well. So that's really the big risk. And actually the biggest thing that you can do to keep yourself safe is to wash your hands regularly with soap, so that that's killing any viruses that have been picked up on your kind of day-to-day lifestyle. Now, you'll see pictures of people with masks. That can absolutely help if the mask is rated to prevent viruses transmitting and being passed through that. Also, with the standard face masks, there's going to be gaps kind of above your eyes, kind of under your chin, where potentially they can be transmitted. And also the saliva can also be transmitted in little tiny droplets, which happens when people sneeze or cough, into the eyes as well. So a mask is not going to prevent every risk of transmission. And then of course, if you're suffering from flu-like symptoms, you should try and avoid other people. You should keep yourself isolated, and that goes regardless of what's causing that flu. And also you should try and avoid other people with similar symptoms. And if you want to know some of the best ways to keep your dog and cat as happy, healthy as possible and out of the vet clinic, then check the video linked on the screen here. You can also get my free download linked on the screen here. And until next time, I'm Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.